In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we launched Zoe Languages and a program called the Language Mine. And here you can see the final and official landing page here. And currently we're in the launch week, and here you can see the program, and this will take you to the checkout page. So I'm going to show you the whole process around how we landed on the promise here, what problem to solve, the ICP, and everything in between. So I think this will be a very interesting video here. So let's jump into the Figma file and let's start from the beginning. And this is the same process we use every time we launch. And this exact process right here was what we used to launch a $214,000 course launch. And now we're replicating the process here, creating the language mine. So the first step, and this is so important, and I think most people miss this step, and nothing in my eyes is more important than this step, and that is doing proper market research. You need to know what people in your industry and also people similar to you, for example, with a big audience and so on, what they are doing and what has been proven to work. And one thing is doing the general market research, figuring out the TAM, the market size, and so on. But another thing, which is even more important, is doing competitive analysis. So competitive analysis is critical. You should know every real alternative in your buyer's head so you can outposition, outprove, and outdeliver them. And you need to look for everything. And I will, in simple terms, I will go through their whole funnel. If they have sales call, I will even take sales calls with those people so that you get to know their whole business, the ins and outs. You check their ads, their landing pages, the VSL video, and so on. Because if there are someone else that are selling what you are making or what you want to make, and they're doing so successfully, you can learn. Maybe they have spent $100,000 doing market research, testing ads, and so on. You can literally take that and turn it into your own thing. You shouldn't just replicate, but that will essentially save you for tens of thousands of dollars. And you also need to understand awareness level and also the market sophistication stages. And I won't go into depth in this video on these things, but these are very important things to know. And also, where do you find them? And here, you need to check ad libraries. You need to search Google, YouTube, TikTok. Every single corner on the internet needs to be searched and needs to be looked at to find competitors. So important. And then you document everything. You put it into an Excel sheet. You create a Google Doc. You can use AI as well, but be sure to also do it manually so that you are sure that you get everything. And then you should do your own research. And this is exactly what we did. So as you can see, the person we made the course with and who actually made the course and we helped market is Zoe Languages. And she has a big YouTube audience and also a decent audience on Instagram. I think on YouTube, she has around almost 900,000 subscribers and on Instagram around 150,000. So that is a good audience size. So what is then a genius thing to do is to ask your audience. And this is exactly what we did, because in the end of the day, she wants to create something that helps her audience. And if you want to help someone, the best approach is to ask them what they need help with. Because if they tell you that they need help to learn a new language and they struggle with X, Y, and Z, then you can use that data to create something for them, something that they want to actually help them. And that is the goal there. So we got 936 responses here. And as you can see, it was a pretty long survey or application here. And here you can see how it's structured. So we didn't have too much logic in here. We had some logic right here and some in the end here. And here you can see the first page. Learn a new language with me. Hey, Zoe here. I'm creating a science-backed system to help adults learn a new language faster and with more confidence. And this is exactly what she has done herself and also what her audience would expect from her. And I think she's speaking 8 languages, and that means she has learned 7 languages as an adult, which is pretty amazing. And also, as a thank you, we gave away something to incentivize people even more to fill it out. But this is also important that you incentivize with the right thing. Because if we said that we will get a MacBook Pro, we will have a lot of people just filling it out to get the MacBook Pro. And maybe they didn't even want to learn a new language. But since this is related to learning a new language, it's a good way to get more appropriate people to do and fill out the survey here. So we asked a lot of questions. So do you need to learn one specific language as soon as possible for work, life, or moving? Do you already speak a language but want to add one more? Do you want to learn for personal growth? And this also says a bit about your motivation for learning to speak a language. And that is very important for us to know. And also, how many non-native languages do you speak at a conversational level or better? And then the main goal, very, very important here. And also which language is the top priority. And then this is also an important one. So we're asking, for the past 12 months, what have you done to learn or improve your language? We want to see what tools are they using right now to try to learn a language. And then we want to see if that tool is fulfilling their needs, or does this tool lack something? And this is exactly what we want to solve better. We want to help them learn to speak a language better than what they are doing right now. But to do so, we need to know what they are doing right now. And here we had some conditions where one route is, if you tried a lot of things, is to ask how much you have spent. And this is a financial question, gives us an indication on what people are spending to actually learn a new language. And then also, for the things you tried in the past, what frustrated you or made you stop? Very, very important for us to know as well. And then everybody sent to this question right here. What feels like the hardest part of learning a language for you right now? Then, how urgent is it for you to improve your language skills in the next 12 months? This says a lot about their motivation, their desire, and the need to learn it right now. If you don't need to learn it in 12 months, it's also very hard to sell you something, because why do it right now? And yeah, also open-ended question here. If you could imagine you start learning a new language today, what would you need to achieve in 3 months to feel this was totally worth it? I am proud of my progress. And then obviously we wanted their name, last name, and email, their contact information, the country they live in, their age, and in the end, GDPR. This right here is GDPR. This was around a beta group that we were running to also test the program and to also validate that this is something people want to pay for. And this is so important, because a lot of people create the course in isolation, and then they end up creating something that people don't want, or they create videos about topics that aren't that relevant, or maybe it's too complex, and so on. So it's always good to run a beta group to test the price and to validate the demand for what you want to create, and also to create the product with the people. So you're creating the best product possible. And then which of these support structures will help you the most? Again, so that we make sure that we create a product that people want, that they are satisfied with. And the next step we did was to put them on a beta offer sequence. So everybody that filled out this was put on a sequence where we tailored this sequence based on the responses. And in the end, we created this page here, which was a waitlist. And this was an important step for us, is creating a big waitlist so that we can try to have a big launch. And also what we did to get people on the waitlist was that Zoe was publishing some lead magnets, some newsletter, and she always sent people from here, if they filled out this lead magnet here, they were sent to this page later on. And the same with the emails is that when you enter in your information here, you were put on an email sequence to send you to this page. And when you enter on this page, you were sent to a thank you for joining. But also here again, we're gathering more data. We want to make sure that we understand our target audience better than anyone else. Because if we understand our target audience better than anyone else, we can serve them better than anyone else. This is very, very important for us when we create courses. And it also makes it a lot easier to market it as well, because we know what people want. And we discovered a lot of interesting things through doing these surveys and questions there that we didn't know. We thought one thing, but the survey and the people told us something else. And that also shifted how we created the course and also how we marketed the course in the end. So here we had a lot of questions, and I won't spend too much time going over these questions. They are a bit similar, and this is also a bit shorter. And around 80 to 90% of all the people that opted in on the waitlist actually also answered these questions. So most people helped us and answered these questions. We had 1,570 submissions. So a lot of people filled out this as well. So if you combine the people answering here, which is almost 1,000, and then you have another 1,500 here. Oh, wait. Here. I have another 1,500 here. Maybe some of the people are the same. They probably are, but again, a lot of data. And when people opted in, again, we're putting them on a sequence. They also got a newsletter every week, providing value, asking questions in the newsletter, interacting with people. And that has really been the essence here. And Zoe really wants to create something amazing that helps people. And if you want to do that, you need to understand the people you're creating the product for. And she really does, and she really cares. And that makes a great product. So based on all the information, all the data, we created a launch sequence. And then we created this landing page right here, which is the same landing page that I showed you in the beginning. And here you can see it live. It's this URL right here, languagemind.com. And here we also created a VSL, which is a 50-minute video where she educates the audience, talk about the program, and also her learning ecosystem and the community and so on. And this video is also tailored around all the data that we gather. And the same with the promise here. So what we figure out is that most people, they want to learn to speak a new language, and they want to learn to speak it with confidence. This is so important. And a main objection or a main concern people have, and they have experienced, is that they try to learn a language, they learn a couple of words, a couple of sentences, but then they lose it. They lose traction, something in their life happens, their life get busy and so on, and then they lose the traction and they feel like they have to start all over again. This was the main thing we discovered through the data. And here we show a lot of social proof from the beta group that we run. Another great thing about having a beta group is that you get feedback, you get testimonials. And here we're talking about the frustrations people are experiencing when trying to learn to speak a new language. And some false belief and some objections people have is that they don't have time, they're not a language person, they're not disciplined enough, and yeah, it's too late for me. But these are not true. So we're trying to break the false belief the target audience is having. And then we're showing the process, more testimonials from the beta group. Again, another genius thing about running a beta group. Also what they're getting, some more stuff they're getting, and then the price and the offer that we're running right now for the launch week. So just for this launch week, for the founding members, they're getting $300 off. And today is actually the last day of the launch. And we also have a 14-day money-back guarantee. Again, if people aren't happy, we don't want them in the community, and that is fair. Then they can get their money back. But we believe in the product so much that we don't even think that people will ask for a refund. At least not because they're not satisfied with the program. And yeah, some more sections here, and everything around this landing page is built around the data we collected and also the experience that we have had through launching several courses just like this before. So in my eyes, a very good landing page, and is working really well. So let's go back to the Figma here. And yeah, this landing page leads straight to the checkout page, which you can see here with also a timer. And after they have paid and enrolled, they are enrolled into the community. And in the community, Zoe is doing, as you can see here, different events. She's actually engaging in the community, a lot of exciting stuff in here, as well as a course. So this is the process and the steps on how we launched our course with Zoe Languages.